terrifying. What is going on? What is this? Body horror in kids media?
I think the body horror subgenre is a subgenre that not everybody will like. It's definitely made for a very specific audience. I get it, not everyone wants to see the human body be turned into a giant flesh blob. It's not everyone's thing. For those of you who don't know what body horror is, it's a subgenre of horror that focuses on the horror of, well, the body. More specifically, the deformation of the human body. The Thing, The Fly, Tusk, Possessor, more recently The Substance, coming later this year together, which I'm really looking forward to seeing in theaters. These are all examples of body horror targeted towards a mature audience. Now, is anyone in Gen Z out there watching this video? Hello? Anyone out there? Raise your hand. Yeah, I see you in the back. Yeah, my fellow Gen Z viewer, what's going on? Hey, did you know that you were probably introduced to body horror as a little kid? Yeah, there is a surprise.
I think so too. Like most of those cartoons, the only way they can show like something, the depiction of something that makes you uncomfortable are usually body horror. Like think about all those zoom in on some of their bodies and things that are transformed or looking weird, or a tongue that is looking weird. Probably, well, you had Goosebumps. There was so much body horror in Goosebumps.
Surprising amount of body horror shown in kids media, enough for me to make a video about it. So, that being said, this is body horror in kids media. Get your snacks ready, or don't.
I don't want to eat no snacks while watching this.
SpongeBob, for some reason, has a lot of gross out and body horror moments, especially during the middle seasons, like the Splinter and in that one episode, Fancy House, where Squidward rips his toenail off. Like, why the fuck is that in SpongeBob? But even in the earlier seasons, there were some bits of body horror thrown in there. I mean, let's take a look at I Was a Teenage Gary in Season 1. Squidward accidentally injects himself and SpongeBob with snail plasma, and they turn into snails, which doesn't sound that scary.
Is weird.
Except for the fact that you get to watch SpongeBob transform.
This is terrifying. What the hell?
Back, Gary. Something is wrong with me.
Now, there was also a rumor going around about a deleted scene where you get to watch Squidward transform as well. Some people claim that they saw the scene air on TV before it was removed, but this is not true. It was debunked. There's no such thing as a deleted scene where Squidward transforms. It's just another case of the Mandela effect, but there are fan animations on YouTube about this quote-unquote deleted scene. Another memorable SpongeBob body horror moment happens in Season 4 episode SquidBob Tentacle Pants. SpongeBob and Squidward get morphed together by Sandy's faulty teleportation machine. When Squidward yanks the machine from Sandy in an effort to turn himself back to normal, he morphs with everybody in the room. And at the very end of the episode, we see in Squidward's psychiatrist office, him morphed with everybody in a big...
Why do you think some adult thought this should be shown to children? This is horrifying. What the hell is this? What? They look like they're in so much pain.
Disgusting flesh. Okay, jokes aside, though, this is actually kind of fucking disgusting.
That is nasty.
And whose eyeball is that? Anyway, yeah, I'd say this episode of SpongeBob, especially the ending of it, is tattooed on every Gen Z person's brain permanently. Does anyone here like cats? Does anyone here like them enough to transform into a big ball of them? Ah, yes, Steven Universe. I never really got into the show that much. I remember watching like the first season maybe, and then I stopped. But recently I've been getting TikTok clips, and I think I missed out, honestly. Maybe I should give it a watch at some point. But I know one thing. Steven Universe is no stranger to horror. I remember that episode where Steven almost fucking dies because his gem is making him age faster, and that episode where Frybo gets possessed. Season 1 was horrifying, Lord have mercy. But there's one episode that always stuck with me, and I'm pretty sure with everyone else who watched Season 1, you don't even have to be a fan to know about this. Cat fingers. He turns his fingers into cats. So Steven's trying to figure out his shape-shifting abilities, and by doing so, turns his fingers into cats, and any body part he touches into cats as well. And by the end of the episode, Steven is drowning in cats that are growing out of his own body.
What does this mean us touch with? It's just cats?
What really puts the cherry on top for this horrific scene is the music that they use. It's like a sad, eerie piano. They figure out that water makes the cats go away, so Steven crawls through the car wash, and he's just turning into this monster of cats. And at the very end of the episode, Steven is A-okay after getting sprayed with a bunch of water. Yeah, I understand why he needs therapy. I think Greg could use some therapy too, actually. Maybe they could do like a father-son therapy session. In Season 5 of The Amazing World of Gumball, there's an episode called The Nuisance. The mayor, who looks oddly a lot like Donald Trump, wants the Wattersons deported, out of Elmore. After finding out that Elmore's crime rate is mainly because of the Wattersons, the Wattersons basically come to the conclusion that if they want to stay in Elmore, they need to look like the perfect model family. So they do a bunch of good deeds, and then they quite literally become a stereotypical perfect model family.
We're becoming model citizens!
What the? What is going on?
Turns out the mayor wanted to get rid of the Wattersons so that he could make Elmore appeal to rich buyers. So then the Wattersons destroy the city, and Elmore's no longer for sale for rich people. In another Season 5 episode, The Best, there's another little moment of body horror. Carmen is a know-it-all, and Gumball doesn't like that, so he tries to one-up her at everything, essentially. Gumball and Carmen are in the chemistry lab doing science experiments, and Gumball, trying to one-up Carmen, doesn't follow the rules, and this happens.
Thank you, giant melted poodle meatball thing.
What the?
My disgusting friend.
Carmen turns into a whatever the fuck that thing is, like a weird core looking thing, and it looks straight out of a nightmare. Which it technically is, I guess, because this part's not real. It's in Gumball's head after inhaling the toxic fumes.
Jesus Christ.
Gravity Falls, another series that's no stranger to horror. And what better time to have weird horror than during Weirdmageddon? Off track here for a second, can we talk about how cool the intro
Looks like
to
early images of
Weirdmageddon is?
AI.
Like, when
it
you
kind
see
of
it for
does.
the first time, it genuinely throws
AI
you off
horror
guard
now
a
is
little
so
bit because you're
scary.
expecting the normal intro, and then boom, oh shit. It's going down. This is the moment. Now, there's a part in Weirdmageddon Part 1 that everybody mentions when talking about scary stuff in Gravity Falls, and it just so happens to be body horror related. Preston Northwest comes up and he's like, yo, Bill Cipher, I'm rich. We welcome you here. Let me be one of your horsemen of the apocalypse. That's what he says, pretty much. And Bill Cipher's not impressed, obviously. I mean, what's a demon gonna do with money? So, in response to Preston's offer, he shuffles the functions of every hole in his face.
What?
Jesus Christ. Well, I guess this goes to show that some kids shows aren't just made for kids. And
They don't fuck
sometimes
around.
you just gotta have a little bit of face shuffling in your show. I do appreciate that Disney actually let this get past the censors. I don't know how, but it's great. Now, gay people, that's where the line is drawn.
That's right.
Invader Zim, one of the most bizarre and hilarious animated children's shows. Now, I loved Invader Zim growing up, but there's one episode that has
hair
always
is
kinda
crazy.
stuck out to me. That episode is Dark Harvest, and I'm sure many other fans of the show will know what I'm talking about. Zim is an alien that's trying to blend in with humans to collect data for a potential alien invasion. This episode takes place when Zim is blending in at school, and the antagonist of the series, Dib, the only one that knows he's an alien, plots to send him to the nurse in an attempt to get him found out for being otherworldly, for not having basic normal human anatomy, specifically human organs. Zim decides in order to be perceived as more human, he must obtain human organs. Zim then goes on a rampage throughout the school, replacing children's organs with various objects, believing that the more human organs he collects, the more human he'll be perceived. While this premise alone is already a little bit unnerving, the real kicker is seeing the x-rays from the students, with their bodies having these weirdly placed objects intertwined with their organs, like hall passes and school supplies. Or the x-ray of Zim's body, which is atrocious, Zim's body being filled to the brim with intestines. As Zim collects more and more of his classmates' organs, his body begins to inflate. They even begin to overflow and spill out of his mouth. Ew! The episode ends with him confronting his nemesis Dib, stealing his organs and then replacing them with a children's toy that makes a mooing cow sound. Zim does pass the nurse's check. The nurse proclaims that he's in perfect health and has such plentiful organs. This episode was definitely memorable as a kid for its very bizarre concept.
That's
Not
weird
even
as
to mention
hell.
its weird visuals. There was definitely a reason it stuck with me.
I think it's
Would you
kind of
believe me if I told
crazy.
you in the very first...
I find it really crazy that these things came out like it is. You know, like this is meant for kids, right? Well, you had like a lot of weird stuff, but this is just straight up nasty.
episode of the Magic School Bus, there's an instance of body horror. The little children get launched into space with a school bus, as typical children do, and they visit different planets, as children usually do. And on Pluto, Janet, who is Arnold's cousin, that looks strikingly like a twin. There might be some family drama going on. Janet is being stubborn. Brother. She wants proof that she was in space and on all these different planets. Well, Pluto's not considered a planet, but whatever. She has the bus stuffed.
It was actually considered a planet when this cartoon was out. That was later on changed.
With proof, and it all falls out, and she doesn't want to leave until she gets her proof. So she's like, yeah, I don't want to leave. And Arnold's like, listen, this is what's gonna happen to you if you don't leave, you little bitch. This is the moment.
Bro, imagine being sassy in space and being like, prove that I'm in space. Bro, this is like talking to a flat earther. What is going on?
Nightmares. Arnold takes his helmet off and his head turns into an ice block.
What a great
Arnold
thing to do.
killed himself to make a point. That's a real man right there. Obviously, Arnold doesn't actually die. He just ends up with a cold, because that makes sense. But who am I to judge the logic of the magic school bus? There are children in space. But I remember being shown this episode in school, and this scene was embedded into my brain. And I think it makes a perfect entry for body horror in kids media. Everybody and their Grandpa Joe knows about Willy Wonka and his magical chocolate factory. Lickable walls, chocolate rivers and waterfalls,
Oompa
Loompas, the unknown... Wait a minute. Everybody wishes that Willy Wonka's chocolate factory was a real thing. Also, hot take, I like the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie better with Johnny Depp.
I do too.
Hate me all you want, but at the end of the day,
no, I
it's
do
just a better
too.
movie. I'm sorry.
Johnny Depp,
Charlie
I like
and the Chocolate
Johnny.
Factory was actually my first introduction to Willy Wonka as a little kid, and boy, let me tell you, I was left fearing for my life. This is a core memory for me. I remember watching Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
She deserved that.
We rented from the library.
She
it
deserved
was just my
that.
mom and I at home
She was a
watching
bitch.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I was having a good old time up until the blueberry part came up. The scene where Violet turns into a giant blueberry. Yeah, this scene terrified me as a child, and I couldn't finish the movie. Just the sheer size that she becomes, I was worried that she was gonna pop, so I had to have my mom pause the movie, and I couldn't finish watching it. But now I enjoy the movie quite a bit.
I love how we had completely different reactions. I was laughing at her as a kid. I was just laughing.
Actually, and I like the music. It has bangers. Chewing, chewing all day long. Chewing, chewing. Like, come on, man. That movie
Yes,
slaps.
throw her out.
Okay. And again, I like it more than the original Willy Wonka. But yeah, the blueberry scene terrified me as a kid. I could not get past it, but now it's a banger. The music slaps. Everything about this movie is golden. Was anyone else scared by this as a kid, or was it just me? Like, this became...
No, I was traumatized enough by watching too many horror movies, watching Goosebumps, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Cow and Chicken. There was so much other horrifying things in other children media. And also I started, because of like Courage the Cowardly Dog, I started watching actual horror movies. So I watched like The Ring and stuff, The Grudge as a kid. I was like, damn, now this shit is scary.
A legitimate phobia for a certain period of my life. I feel like the
original Aliens is also way worse. The only thing about Aliens I was like really scared about was the fact that I thought it was real. Because like it says that in one of the Alien ones, it says like down, like at the ending, a date or something, and it made it seem like it's a real date, and I thought it was real, and I was like, oh my God, they're coming to get me.
Properly end this video is if I end it by talking about Bad Case of Stripes. I believe this book truly is everybody's first introduction to body horror.
What the hell? What is this?
We all have shared this same experience, I'm sure, sitting in elementary school on the rainbow carpet that has shit stains on it. And the teacher is reading this book to us, and she turns the book to show us the illustrations, and we are just blessed by pure body horror. If you've gone your entire life without encountering this book somehow, basically, the book is about this girl who won't eat her lima beans. I don't know why they picked lima beans. Like, I agree with her. Lima beans fucking suck. Could have picked literally any delicious vegetable to teach a lesson, and you chose lima beans. But anyway, she refuses to eat her lima beans, so the next day, she turns into a pride flag. And with each page flip of this book, she just gets progressively more and more deformed. Up until the point where she actually becomes a room in the house. And take a wild guess on what the fix for this is. Lima beans. beans. Moral of the story is, if you don't eat your vegetables, if you don't stay healthy, you're gonna turn into a disgusting creature. Okay, children? Let this be a lesson to you all. I don't know why they picked the lima beans out of all vegetables to eat. You could have picked something delicious like, I don't know, cooked carrots are pretty good. Could have gone with cooked carrots. Potatoes. You can do a bunch of things with potatoes. Mashed potatoes, baked potatoes. Hell, chop up some potatoes, throw them in the air fryer. Boom. Got something delicious right there. Be creative with it. Don't gotta eat raw-ass lima beans. That's gonna do it for this video. I think Bad Case of Stripes is perfect to end with. Thank you, Gage, for doing the Invader Zim segment.
Thanks, Jeejay.
I don't know a whole lot about Invader Zim because I didn't grow up watching it, so he was really helpful with that. Be sure to go check his channel out. And with that being said, please consider subscribing to my channel and turning on post notifications, because sometimes YouTube doesn't always notify or put my videos in sub boxes, so you want to be
I
notified.
have the same issue, man. No, this was a good video. I think that when it comes to body horror, I feel like that started coming out like a little bit later on after like SpongeBob. That's when it started popping off a little bit more. I mean, did you have some body horror in like in the Courage the Cowardly Dog? I don't remember. I think he transformed to something. There were some weird things. Most of the time it was just beating the hell up. But I think there was some in the Cow and Chicken and stuff like that. It was a lot of weird stuff. I don't know who thought to themselves that, you know, we should show this to kids. Like, kids will truly love checking out this. This is great. This shit is often nasty, and even at an older age, you feel uncomfortable just looking at it. What a crazy video. Well, a good video though. It was a good. I've never watched this channel before. Go